Hi all, welcome to my channel, welcome to my world. This is the world of Wayne. It's the weekend and on a rare occasion, it's a Saturday. I'm going to be doing, you're going to love this, the next 6 stages of the Fanhome release of Build E.T. the Extraterrestrial. 6 stages. We've been going from having 2 stages to 3 stages. Now we're on 6 stages, so there is a lot to do, and I believe we might be working on the mouth area today. Now if you do want to get this for yourself, I have put a link in the video description. And there's also a QR code on the screen. At the moment, E.T.'s fast asleep. We did work on the eyes last time, so I haven't actually even looked at the magazine. So we're about to see together what we're about to do. Without further ado, let's get cracking. So this is the booklet for stage 9. Each stage does come with its own booklet, so they are in themselves a collector's item. The eyelid mechanism and mouth servo motor we're going to be doing next. We've got these parts here. Making this servo motor in here, so at the end of it, I believe we've just created this section here. And this is the rest of the magazine. Oh look, there's Alf. So they're now coming in these smaller bags, as you can see here, with the number clearly put on the side about what one we're actually doing. And what I'm going to do is bring the head over. I will take his front face panel off, just leaving the skeleton underneath, because it's this area that I'm looking at on top now. Okay, so I'm going to be taking this section here first, which has got a rack of pins on here. It's going to be engaged into the motor where you can see the cog on there. So it's going to go in just like that. Once it's locked in, that can't move unless the motor lets it. Got that into place though. We are going to need to get some grease on this. Now I've still got my bag of grease from last time. So this is going to get a little bit messy. I'll put it on the teeth here. And I did think I said last time as well, you can never have too much grease. Let me just wipe my hands. So we're going to be putting these screws in. These screws come loose in this pack, and we've also got some washers. Now it's very hard in the instructions to see how they've got these washers, but I'm guessing the flat side needs to face down, but they're going to go into these points just here. And there's one. Just do the same on the other side. Now putting them in so the screws are flush with that washer, it can still move, as you can see there, but it can't chatter up and down. So I'm hoping that's going to be in okay. Now, do you remember I said this is going to be controlling the blinking of the eyes here? What I'm going to do is take this bracket, and that's just going to go under this section here and clips in. Then the other side's going to be clipping in to that side there. So now the eyes at the moment are quite sleepy, but they actually stay up on their own now. I don't have to keep them open with my finger, so that's good. I can put this whole thing to one side now and bring over the case for the next servo motor to go in. First thing I've got is some pins, which are just going into these holes in the center here. And guess what? We need more grease. So once again, I'm glad they provide so much. I'm really going to town on it. So I've plastered grease on it. Now one gear is going to go all the way down there. I've put grease on these cogs as well. I am getting myself in a right old mess here. That is completely covered. Let me just clean my hands. Take the motor. I'm checking the terminals are okay. They look perfect. I want to put the motor in here to make sure it engages with those gears like that. And we're actually at a point where they actually want me to test the servo motor now with the motor we put in. I've actually just put this gently to one side. So let's plug this in to the test motor. And when I turn it on, let's have that one. Let's see what it does. So the way this works is this is going to make it go in one direction. So to test it, make sure, because I can still move it at the moment, make sure your eyes are open. When I flick the on button, they close. Then what you can do is manually put it back and do it again. Perfect. Successful test. That's all there is to do in that stage. So in stage 10, here's the instructions. And again, we're putting the top of the cover on now for this motor here. Lots of little fine details we're going to be putting in. And this is the rest of the magazine. I didn't actually look. Let's have a look what we're actually doing. This is the mouth servo motor. We're still working on the eyelid mechanism. So some of these bags, there looked like there wasn't much to do. And it looks like the fiddly bags we've got are full of all of this sort of stuff here. Now, just looking at this pack, this wire looks very delicate. So I'm going to be very gentle when I'm unraveling this. I don't want to go pulling anything off here. Okay, so bringing over what we've created, I'm going to be putting another gear onto this shaft here. Now, I want it on the longer end of this shaft, so it's just going to go into the top just like that. It actually goes through all the way, so it comes out the other way there. Then this is going to be going into this position here, this way round. So on this side, you can see that part of the gear. Now this is engaged in that one there, and you guessed it, going to get myself in a mess again. They do want this to be fully greased up, so I'm just going to town now. Oh, that's probably too much, but you know, I don't think you can have too much. Right, we're going to be closing this up now, ensuring that these pins do go into these holes here. So hopefully, if I keep this like that, when I put this on, there we go. They've slotted in perfectly first time. Now in this bag, I've got some black screws, and I need 3 of these in here to hold this all together. So let me get all them in. Now I'm going to be putting on these covers, which are going to go onto the shafts. Now I need to orientate them into a certain position, just like this. And as you can see, they're now pointing with the bottom part here towards this flat edge. So one screw in that side, and do exactly the same on the other side, making sure it's orientated right. It has got a square hole at the back, so it will hold it in place. This is incredibly fiddly to do when your hands are still covered in grease. So there you go. They're in on both sides, so they are now pointing in the same direction. Right. Do you remember step 5 in issue 6, which was this box here? We need to actually take that out now. So let's get this out. And what I want to do is take the switch that we had first, and you'll see we've got 2 lugs there. On the top camera, I'm going to zoom this in. I'm going to want to lie this down with these 2 wires on this side into those lug positions, just like that. Now the wire, I want to feed through the hook that you might be able to see again on the top camera there. I'm going to show you on the close-up. You see the wire is now in that hook. Hopefully you can see that. And then I want to bring the plug just down this side here. There is a gap for this to go. Bit fiddly, but as you can see, it now comes out of this side just here. I'm about to put this shaft back in now, so make sure this is in position. Perfect. So the eyes are locked into place. They can only move with this motor now. And that is all there is to do in that stage. So here's stage 11. Let's have a look at the magazine. Again, we've got some more parts again for the mouth servo motor mechanism that we're going to add to this, building onto this here, attaching this to the main section that we've just done. And I do think we get to test it as well. That's going to be great. So it's looking like that. And here's the rest of the magazine. Okay, so taking what we created in the last few stages, I'm going to be taking this bracket first, and it's going to be going on this side here, just like that. Now, once again, I've got these washers, and I want the flat side of the washer, as in this side here, to be facing down. And I'm going to be screwing these into place. So one here. I do find it a tiny bit easier to put the washer in first, and then the screw. There we go. That's now locked into that side. I'm going to do the same on the other side here. So this is just going to be going in like this. And by putting these in, I do get to lock these front parts together as well now, like that there. Excellent. And in exactly the same way, put these screws in to hold this side in. So once that's done, it should look just like that. Bring ET back over, and I'm going to be having it this way round. This is going to fit over the two lugs we got there, just like that. Make sure this is seated straight. Excellent. And in a similar way to what I've done, I've just got these washers to put on, which I'm just going to put on both sides of this here, and they're held in once again with these flat side black screws. Now we do get to test this now, so I've got the test motor, plug this in, and as you can see when I plug it in, that's what it's doing. Working really good, quite quiet as well actually. Perfect, so that's another working electric. God, this never happens on the World of Wayne channel. There's a top view just to show you what that's doing. Okay, that's the end of that stage. So looking like we've got really quick stages now. So this is stage 12. And as you can see, we've got the first part of the upper structure of the head with some screws. We're just going to be putting this into place and screwing that in. So what I'm going to do, because these are quick stages, I'll show you the magazine. And I'm going to be getting the next couple of stages as well and do all of these together. So this is stage 13. Here's the magazine. And again, there's the other side there, which is going to go on the top, creating that familiar headline of ET. There's the magazine. And then finally, in the last stage, 14, here's the magazine. Another quick flick through. We've got another little part here, which is going to start doing the underside of the head. So the next three stages, as I said, there isn't really much to do. So I'm going to do them all together. So here is part 12. Turn ET over. And this, quite simply, is going to be going onto the top just here. So I'm lining up this centre hole here with this lug. And that's going to ensure that's going to be lined up perfectly like that. And 3 screws to hold this in. So I will put the one just here first. I've only put it in loose, just so I can get the other 3 in. And this one I'm going to make it really tight, because that's sort of going to centre everything up then. And then just one at the back, ensuring I haven't pinched that wire there. Tightening up all of the screws now. And that's one side completed. Doing exactly the same on the other side. So this time we've got the lugs here that fit into the piece that we've just put in. So I can put that in at an angle like this to make sure that it engages on all fronts. And once again, get 3 screws in. Now when we put this last bit in, we've got a little tab here that we want to just slot into the gap just there. And there's one on this side at the front as well. And just push them up like that. And then holding it in with 1 screw just into this point here. Get that screwed in all the way. Perfect. So that is all there is to do in that stage. That's all there is to do in that pack. Now I want to convince myself that I've done everything absolutely fine. Just piecing these closer together here. So I'm going to test all the electrics again. So let's do the, what should we do first? Stand by. Let's do the mouth first. Make sure that still works. So just plug these electrics in. And there we go, as you can see, mouth is still working absolutely fine. Let's check the eyes work. Plug these ones in. Here's the positive one going in. And there's the eyes, even though they're upside down. Let's turn him round. There you go. Which means the only other thing to test is the blinking mechanism. So on the side camera there, if I put this one in, you can see that's sort of closed that we saw earlier on. If I reverse the polarity, they open. So all the electrics are working as well. I'm a happy person. And that's all there is to do in that pack. I do think at the end of those packs you should really check the electrics, because if there's something going wrong now, it's easy to get to. It won't be once we put that full frame on. I'm just going to put E.T.'s face on now. And his mouth sort of goes on this bit at the bottom here. Like this. I'm just doing that. So now if I operate that mouth mechanism, we should see his mouth move. So stand by. Let's just plug this in. 1 and 2. We're going to see this together. I'll hold that up. Let's see if his mouth moves. How cool is that? Wow. I'll be right here. That's brilliant. I love this build. If you want to get this for yourself, I have put a link in the video description and there's also a QR code on the screen. But I really hope you like that video. If you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already, please remember to subscribe. Other than that, take care.